Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, I talk about practical electrical and automation topics that actually help you on the job. Okay? No complicated math, no theory overload, just real and simple understanding. So today we are going to talk about something that confuse a lot of people, even experienced engineer also confused. Okay, and that is how to select the correct VFD for your motor. Now you think I will just pick the same kilowatt rating as the motor. Now you might think, oh, you will just pick the same kilowatt rating VFD select as per the motor and I am done. But trust me, it is not that simple. If you do it wrong, your VFD will either trip constantly, fail early, or even big damage your motor. By the end, in, by the end in this video, you will know exactly what to look for when selecting a VFD, step by step in very practical way. So let's get started. So my point is, what is a VFD? Before we go into selection, let me just give you a very quick recap of what a VFD actually does, because of your selection depend on understanding this. VFD stand for variable frequency drive. Its job is to control the speed of AC motor by changing the frequency of the electrical supply going to the motor. Think of this like if your motor is like a fan and electricity is like the wind pushing the fan, the VFD control how strong and fast that wind blows. More frequency means more speed, less frequency means less speed. Simple. A VFD also does a very important thing. It does a soft start instead of the motor jumping to full speed instantly, which can damage machines and consume high starting current. Okay, the VFD ramp up the frequency slowly and smoothly. Okay, now that we understand what a VFD does, let's talk about the select right one. Okay. Okay, so first step, know your motor nameplate. Step number one, and this is the most important step, you must look at your motor nameplate before you do anything else. The motor nameplate is that small metal plate attached to the motor body. It has all the critical details about your motor. When selecting a VFD, there are four things you need from the nameplate. First, power rating is in kilowatt, or okay, kilowatt and HP horsepower. Okay. Second is full load current. Uh, Full load current in always in amperes. Okay. And voltage like 380 volts, 450 volts, and 440 volts. Okay. Frequency typically 50 hertz or 60 hertz. Now here what most people do wrong, they look at the kilowatt rating and just buy a VFD with the same kilowatt rating, but actually the most important number is the full load current, the amperes. Why? Because the VFD produce current to the run motor. If the VFD output current rating is less than the motor full load current, it will be trip on overload. The VFD output current rating must always be equal or greater than motor's full load current. Okay. For example, if your motor nameplate says 15 amperes full load current, your VFD must have an output current rating of at least 15 ampere. Simple rule, never ignore it. Okay. Step number 2, understand the load type. Step 2, and this is step many people skip, you need to understand what types of load on your motor is driving, because different load behave differently and your VFD must be rated accordingly. There are mainly two types of load you will deal with. First, light duty variable torque load, okay, and second is heavy duty constant torque load. So first, light duty variable torque load. These are load where the torque requirement is low at low speed and increase with speed. I am again saying that these are load where the torque requirement is low at the low speed and increase with the speed. The best example are fans and blowers and centrifugal pumps. For this load, you can use VFD rated for normal duty, also called variable torque. These VFD are lighter, cheaper and perfectly good for fan and pump application. Second is heavy duty constant torque load. These are loads that require high torque even low speed. Example for conveyors, compressor, crusher, mixer and extruders. Okay. For this load, you must use VFD rated for heavy duty, also called constant torque. This VFD can handle higher current at the low speed without overheating or tripping. Here is very practical tip. If you are not sure about that load, always go for the heavy duty rating. Yes, it may cost for little more, but it will save your many headaches later. Okay. So sorry. Also, if the application involves a lot of stopping and starting in short time, or if the motor needs high starting torque, always choose heavy duty. Okay, always choose heavy duty. Think of a conveyor belt loaded with heavy material. It needs a big push right from zero speed. Normal duty VFD will not handle that well. Step number 3, check voltage and frequency matching. Step 3, always match the input voltage and frequency of the VFD to your power supply and match the output voltage and frequency to your motor. Most industrial VFD have an input side and output side. The input side take power from your electric panel, your main supply. Output side gives power to the motor. If your site runs 450 volts, 50 hertz frequency, okay, your VFD input must accept 415 volt at 50 hertz frequency. If your motor rated for 450 volt, the VFD output must also be 450 volt. Okay. Now here is something important about 3-phase various single phase. Okay. Most industrial motor are 3-phase. So most VFD are also 3-phase input, 3-phase output, but some small motor like 1 HP or 2 HP may be single phase. In that case, some VFD accept single phase input and give 3-phase output. So be careful, check this before buying. Also check if the VFD can handle your local voltage fluctuation. In many countries, voltage can go up or down by 10 to 15%. A good VFD should handle this range without any problem. Always check the input voltage tolerance in the VFD datasheet. So, step number 4, derating factors, very important. Now this step is something that almost nobody talk about, but it is extremely important in the real field application. It called derating. Derating means in the certain condition a VFD cannot run at its full rated capacity. You have to choose slightly bigger VFD to compensate. Let me explain in the main derating factors. First, temperature derating. VFD are rated for a certain ambient temperature, usually 40 degrees Celsius. If your installation location is hotter than 40 degrees, maybe inside the panel in a hot factory or outdoor enclosure, the VFD will derate itself. It will reduce its output capacity to protect itself. For example, if the temperature is 50 degrees Celsius, many VFD derate by 10 to 15%. Okay, so you need a 10 ampere VFD, you may actually need a by 12 ampere VFD. Okay, so always check the derating table in the VFD manual. Okay, next, altitude derating. VFD also derate at high altitude, at higher altitudes. Okay, the air is thinner, so there is the less cooling effect. Typically above 1000 meter elevation, derating start. If your factory or site is at high altitude, like in mountains area, check the altitude derating chart. Okay, and next, uh, long cable derating. If the motor cable if the cable between VFD and motor is very long, say more than 50 to 100 meters, there can be voltage drop and extra capacitance in the cable. This creates what we call leakage current, which can cause the VFD to trip in nuisance fault. Okay, in that case, you need to install output reactors or chokes, or select VFD with extra current capacity. Some VFD also have setting to reduce carrier frequency, which help to long cable issues. Always inform your VFD supplier about this cable length. And the when in doubt, go one size up. It always better to have slightly bigger VFD than an unsized one that keep tripping. Step number 5, braking requirement. Think about how your motor needs to stop. In many applications, when you press a stop, the motor just coasts down slowly. For fans and pumps, this is usually fine. The VFD can ramp down the frequency slowly and the motor stops smoothly. But in some applications like crane, hoist or machines that need to stop precisely and quickly, so you need braking, and this is where a braking resistor comes. When a motor deaccelerates quickly, it act like generator and push energy back into the VFD. This creates what we call regenerative energy. If this energy not handled the in the VFD, this create what we call regenerative energy. If this energy not handle the VFD internal DC bus voltage, okay, goes very high and VFD trips on an over voltage fault. Okay, I'm again saying that when a motor deaccelerates quickly, it acts like a generator and push energy back into VFD. This create what we call regenerative energy. If this energy is not handled, the VFD internal DC bus voltage goes very high current, very high voltage goes very high, and VFD trip is on over voltage fault. So a braking resistor connect to the VFD. A braking resistor connect to the VFD absorb this energy as a heat, and the VFD can deaccelerate the motor quickly without tripping. So when you are selecting your VFD, ask yourself, does this application need fast braking or precise stopping? If yes, make you sure select a VFD that has a built-in braking resistor, also called chopper, or or the options to connect one externally, then calculate the correct braking resistor size separately. Okay, for normal pump and application, you generally do not need a braking resistor, but for any application with heavy load or fast stopping system requirement, it is essential. Step number 6, protection and environment. Think about the environment where the VFD will install. Okay, VFD come in different enclosure protection rating called IP rating. IP stand for ingress protection. The IP rating tells you how well the VFD is protected from the dust and water. IP20, this is a basic open chassis VFD. No protection against dust or water. Only suitable for installation inside a clean and dry electric panel. IP54 or IP55. This means the VFD is dust light and splash proof. You can install it in a slightly dusty or damp environment. IP66 is fully sealed, suitable for outdoor environment or wash down areas like a food or processing plant. In most industrial application, VFD are installed inside control panel. So in IP20 VFD is fine, but you are mounting VFD directly on the machine or wall. Check the environment carefully and choose the right IP rating. Also consider if your environment has lot of dust, oil, mist or chemical vapors, you may need special coated board inside the VFD. Some manufacturers offer conformal coated PCB for harsh environment. Always mention your environment to the supplier. So step number 7, additional feature to look for. Think about what extra features your application need. Different VFD offer different features. Here are some common ones you might to need. PID controller. If your motor control a process like maintain water pressure or temperature, you need a VFD with built-in PID control. Most modern VFD have this, but confirm it. Okay. Second is communication protocol. If you are connecting the VFD to a PLC or SCADA system, check what communication protocol is supported. Modbus RTU, Profibus, Ethernet, okay, Ethernet IP, etc. Make sure your VFD support what your system uses. And built-in MNC filter, okay. VFD create electrical noise called EMC interface. If you are in sensitive environment with other electronic nearby, make sure your VFD has a built-in EMC filter, or you will need to add one externally. Okay. And safe torque of STO. For safety critical application, look for VFD with STO function. Safe torque of function. This allows safe stopping of the motor without full power isolation. Okay, very important in automation and mobile safety machine safety application. Okay, you don't need all of these parameters for every application, but know what is available help you pick the right VFD for your specific need. So alright everyone, let's do a quick recap of everything we covered today. To select the correct VFD for your motor, remember these 7 steps. First step, read your motor nameplate. Focus on full load current and voltage. Second step, identify your load type, fan or pump or normal duty. Okay, means fan or pump is equal to normal duty and conveyor crush is equal to in heavy duty. Okay, example for step number 3, match input voltage and frequency to your supply and output to your motor. Okay, and fourth step is consider the rating for temperature, altitude and long cable runs. Step number 5 step number 5, decide if you need braking capability and braking register. Okay, and step number 6, choose the right IP protection rating for your environment. 7 is 7 is check for required features like PID, communication protocol, NEMC filter and STO. Okay, so follow these 7 steps and I promise you you will never select a wrong VFD again. If you found this video is helpful, please hit the like button. It's really helped the channel grow. Drop your question in the comments. I read every single one. Okay, if you want to me make video on how to wire a VFD, okay, and how to set VFD parameters, let me know below. Next time. Okay, take care, stay safe and keep learning. I will see you in next video. Thank you very much, and please like and subscribe my YouTube channel. I become engineer. Thank you very much.